Today I've got for you Winter Queen from Crowd Games. Winter Queen is a abstract strategy game that uses gorgeous little crystals that we place on a board and score points for them. We set up the board in the middle of the table, and then depends on the number of players, we get all the tokens and crystal holders out on the table. We get the coins, we get obviously the crystals, and also depending on the number of players, some of them might be removed from the game. All the other ones are placed in a bag, shaken, and we put 3 out on each holder. Now in a 2-player game, we're using 3 holders and we can take crystals from any of them. And in a 4-player game and 3-player games, we can only take the crystals from holders adjacent to us. Then we flip the books so we know what spells we're going to be going for, and in our turn we can take a crystal and put it anywhere on the board. Now when we put it on the board, we can also take a spell book that corresponds to the color of the board that the crystal's been put on, not to the color of the crystal. Let's say I put the crystal here, and I can then take the book that corresponds to that spot on the board. I can have up to 3 spell books available at one time. Then when I use one, I can replace it. I can also put a crystal on the book. That's going to determine what color I'm going to be scoring for later. And I can then score that book by getting rid of the crystal, getting points, flipping the book. And then we go around the table up until we cannot refill one of the trays. And then the game ends when everyone apart from the person with the first player token had their go. Now Winter Queen is a gorgeous game, you cannot say anything else about this. The game's got an insert where everything fits in perfectly. The cardboard is of very good quality, it's a beautiful picture of the Winter Queen as well. Art is amazing, the crystals are beautiful. I love crystals, and it's going to be definitely a treat for everyone who does. Now the board is double-sided, depends which side you prefer to use. I prefer this one just because of the artwork on it. The coins could be a bit better. This is the weakest point of the whole game. The rule book is written really well. There is not a single thing I would change about this. The books, the spell books which have the iconography, it's all described in the book in detail how to score points. So very well done for Crowd Games for putting together such a gorgeous game. Now as I said, the game is definitely very well made. There is not a single thing I would change about this. Maybe about the coins. Yes, I know they have to look exactly the same because they're hidden points, so at the end of the game we only flip them over to see how many points everyone scored, but otherwise the points are hidden, so the coins have to look exactly the same. Maybe if there were some sort of snowflake shape or something, they'll be even prettier, but obviously this is not up to me. When it comes to the atmosphere at the table, this is an abstract strategy game, but we do have a board that we all use together, so we will be sharing this. Our opponents can definitely mess up our plans, and so we can mess up their plans. And then there is the spell books. We determine a way of scoring for ourselves, so everyone's scoring for something else at a different point of the game as well. So this is a very thinky game, so don't be fooled by its gorgeousness. It is a thinky game with a very unique strategy, with a very unique mechanism where we take the gems from the holders and put them on the board. If you take the last gem from the holder, you do get a coin and you refill it, so you need to know when to empty such a holder and where to place those gems, if you've rather placed it on the board or if you place it on your book to get points. And you can have up to 2 gems on your books to get points, and then if you do use book with 2 gems, you can then remove one of the gems from the board. So the board is ever so changing, and it doesn't really help that our opponents are scoring for something else, so we constantly have to keep an eye out on what's going on the board. The game is not very long. For 2 players it is about 20 minutes. Obviously it gets longer with the amount of players because people can get analysis paralysis, and this is very prone to this because there is lots of thinking, lots of decisions to make. And yes, for 4 players it will probably be about a 45-minute to an hour game, but it's going to be a very nice quality time spent with this game because of its uniqueness, because of the way it looks, and because of the different way it plays. We don't own a game with a similar mechanics on a shelf, but it will stay on a shelf next to Azul, next to Reef, next to games that are gorgeously made and that definitely make your brain steam. Would definitely recommend Winter Queen to anyone who likes abstract strategy games, still on a family level, and this game is language independent, so you can play it with anyone. The iconography is very clear, there isn't any questions to what things mean, they are very clearly described in the rulebook, so there shouldn't be any problems with that. If you like abstract strategy games, if you like what you're seeing, Winter Queen is a game for you.